1991 playoffs. The Bulls won, but what evolved was a big-time sports rivalry. The 92 playoffs had the Knicks seeking revenge. The Bulls did not back down, and Michael Jordan had all the answers. In 93, Jordan shut the playoff door on the Knicks again. Then he left basketball with 3 titles and the Knicks in disbelief. In 94, the Knicks got their revenge, beating the Bulls without Michael. Last year, Jordan returned, and in his cameo appearance to New York, Jordan led the Bulls to victory, lighting up the Knicks for 55 points in what critics have called one of the greatest Broadway performances ever. Now, Patrick Ewing's Knicks and Michael Jordan's Bulls have advanced to the conference semifinals, where the stirring rivalry continues, with Michael Jordan taking center stage.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1996 NBA playoffs.
You are looking at the United Center in Chicago as we close in on game time. And here come the Bulls for game 1 of this best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinal series. It's the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls renewing what has been a heated playoff rivalry in recent years. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv along with Matt Guokas. The major question going into today's game, the injury status of Michael Jordan's back. For more on that, let's check in with Dan Hicks.
All right, thank you, Marv. Indeed, a bevy of activity in the Bulls training room. I just got out of there and talked to trainer Chip Schaefer, and he says that Michael, if he had to put a number on it, is 80%. He had the same medication, same treatment last night and today. More importantly, I just talked to Michael Jordan, and he says even though he does feel looser, it is a mystery to him how he will respond over the game for 48 minutes. It's a catch-22. He wants to play and stay loose, but he does not want to burn himself out in this series. So it is a mystery to Michael Jordan and the rest of the country, Marv, how effective he'll be with a sprained back. Marv?
All right, Dan, and with Michael Jordan bothered by that back injury, although his numbers are still impressive in the series against Miami, the question is, can Scottie Pippen continue to elevate his game as he did against the Miami Heat?
Well, Marv, you'll remember Scottie labored in the last third of the regular season due to some nagging injuries, but he was sharp in the 3-game sweep over the Miami Heat. Those are the kind of numbers that we've come to expect from the best all-around player in the game. And with Michael Jordan's back somewhat in doubt, Scottie Pippen will have to do more of everything to help the Bulls get through this series.
And the New York Knicks come off that surprising 3-game sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers. They did it with amazing 3-point shooting, and it was sparked by John Starks, who was on fire right throughout the series.
And John's play was marked by consistency and control and some red-hot 3-point shooting. That 14 for 22 3-point shooting, and that's a record-breaking performance, and the rest of the team on target as well. Now, it's hard to rely on that kind of shooting, but the Knicks will need to steal a game or two from Chicago.
All right, so coming up, game 1 of the best-of-7 between the Knicks and the Bulls. We'll be back with the introduction of the lineups in a moment.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by New Miller Beer, the brand new beer from Miller with big flavor that goes down easy. By the all-new Eclipse Spider Convertible. It's fun you can depend on from Mitsubishi. And by Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
Welcome back to Chicago. The Knicks have never won here at the new United Center, including the 1994 playoffs. The Knicks have lost 7 straight games in Chicago, 11 of the last 12. We're set for the introduction of the starting lineups. Here's Ray Clay on the public address.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bulls welcome the world's greatest fans to the United Center. Today's game is between the New York Knicks and your Chicago Bulls. Now let's meet today's starting lineup. First for the visiting New York Knicks, And one forward from Tennessee State, 6'7", Anthony Mason. And the other forward, 6'9", out of Virginia Union, Oakley. At center, 7 foot from Georgetown, Ewing. And one guard, 6'4", from Illinois, Harper. And the other guard out of Oklahoma State, 6'5", John Starks. The New York Knicks are coached by Jeff Van Gundy.
Moments away from game one between the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks. Well, the Dean of Sideline Reporting, Ahmad Rashad, is not with us today. Ahmad a bit under the weather, and we all wish him a speedy recovery. Filling in for Ahmad, Dan Hicks. Let's go to Dan.
All right, thank you very much, Marv. And talking with some of the Knicks players before this game, you might be thinking they would be feeling some of the pressure. Maybe their years running out to win a championship. Really quite the contrary. Jeff Van Gundy's pregame chat to the players really differed none at all from the ones that he conducted during the regular season. But the Knicks players say this game one is especially important. If they play well tonight, it could dictate the tempo for the rest of the series. Marv?
All right, Dan, the officials, Joey Crawford, Don Vaden, and Ed F. Rush, and Matt, some intriguing matchups. We were discussing this last night with Jeff Van Gundy. He has decided at least to start out with Anthony Mason defending against Michael Jordan, although we'll see a number of different looks. And Derek Harper, who will be fighting off a mismatch, particularly in a post-up situation, in going against Scottie Pippen.
And in the last two regular season games between New York and Chicago, Anthony Mason spent a lot of time watching Michael, and what it does is make Michael stay out on the perimeter, takes his post-up game away because Mason is physical down low, and the way you defend down there is to put that forearm in the back, and I'm sure Michael would try to avoid that as much as possible.
During the regular season, the Bulls took 3 of 4. That one Knick win in New York, March 10th. Jeff Van Gundy's second game as head coach, and they dealt the Bulls their worst defeat of the season, 104-72, but the Bulls came back and won handily here in Chicago. Charles Oakley able to sweep his way through. Charles Oakley making his return in the series against Cleveland after missing the last 6 games with an eye injury, and he has been a big factor. Rodman, Longley, Harper, and Jordan for 3. The Bulls with a 3-2 lead.
Michael looked sharp on that, not just because the ball went in the basket, but he had his legs under him, went up strong with the shot.
And right at the start, you can see the Bulls are looking to trap. They know the Knicks are vulnerable. Now Mason picking up Jordan, but he fires again. has opened up by hitting his first two, a three-pointer, and then a jumper from some 15 feet away.
And on the first two Knicks possessions, we saw them driving the ball to the basket. Part of the game plan, they want to break the Bulls' defense down that way, despite that long shot by John Stark.
And here's Jordan again. And knocked out of bounds by Rodman.
Well, Anthony Mason will have his problems on the perimeter against Michael Jordan. He's got to give ground. Actually, Mason got hung up on the screen as Michael got a terrific look. And once again, Mason having to give ground, respecting the drive of Michael Jordan. Michael raises up and nails it.
Harper hits the three. So that ties the game at 5. We mentioned a moment ago the Knicks' success from three-point territory in the series against the Cavaliers. Rodman's strength. He was looking for a foul. Mason, met by Jordan, decide to pull it back. Mason now played by Longley. Nice inside move by Anthony Mason.
So far, the Knicks looking very confident at both ends of the floor. Even though they've given up the two jump shots to Jordan, they'd rather see that in the offense.
Luc Longley, who Phil Jackson says will play most of the way against Patrick Ewing. The shuttle system has ended. And Longley has had some good games against Ewing. Along the lines of what Bill Cartwright did in previous years, he's able to push him off the blocks. Harper for three. Well, both clubs have come out shooting, no hesitation at all here in the opening minutes. The game is tied at 7.
A big key for the Knicks is rebounding. The Bulls, one of the best rebounding teams in the league. The Knicks, the worst offensive rebounding team. To stay in this game, they got to control the ball.
Longley with the rejection of Harper. And here's Ron Harper at the other end. Put home by Pippen.
And that's also the Knicks' biggest fear, that after a missed shot, after a turnover, the Bulls, the best team in basketball as far as converting to the other end. Just poor transition defense, that time by New York.
Bulls by 2. Oakley got the step. Off the steal, Pippen has Jordan. Pippen for 3. Pippen on the rebound. Harper. Chicago with an 11-7 lead. And you can see Jordan and Pippen up at center court threatening the trap on Harper. Soft pressure that time. Ewing. Now Pippen using the open floor and then lost it.
Ron Harper getting into the lane, but terrific follow-up by Scottie Pippen as nobody got a body. And then the transition play, or not the transition play, but Harper getting it back after the transition play failed and getting a second shot opportunity because the Knicks didn't return to defense.
Offensive foul. Anthony Mason called on that foul.
Well, Patrick Ewing on the outside as Mason trying to set the screen down, and this is the way the Knicks normally like to set those picks, very physically. Good job of Dennis Rodman taking that pop.
6-0 run by the Bulls. Jordan for 3. Rebounded by Pippen. The last 4 minutes, these two clubs combined for 17 shots. They're just popping from all angles. And a loose ball foul being indicated. Joe Crawford with the call. It is on Rodman.
Speaking of popping, Dennis Rodman can't believe it as Charles Oakley trying to keep a body on Rodman, and you got to get him early. He did. Got the elbow up into the neck and throat area of Dennis Rodman. It looked like Oakley threw Rodman down, but the call went against Rodman.
Harper setting up Ewing from way out. Patrick Ewing over Luc Longley for his first field goal, and the Bulls lead 11-9. Pippen lost it. Rodman. Jordan shooting. Chicago 13 and New York 9. Jordan 3 of 5, 7 points. And the Knicks into the transition game, something that you do not see too often. Trying to break down court in this first quarter on a number of occasions against the Bulls. Foul was called on Jordan. Timeout is taken, 6:43 remaining. In the first, it's the Bulls 13, the Knicks 9.
Dr. Catherine Homrick cares for some very demanding patients in upstate New York.
I drive a lot. Some days I'll drive up to 300 miles a day to see my clients.
Fortunately, this veterinarian drives the reliable Mitsubishi Galant.
My Galant makes my life a lot easier. With the weather being unpredictable, it's real important that I have a dependable vehicle.
The Mitsubishi Galant, a car you can depend on, even when it's raining cats and dogs. The Galant from Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
He has a sense of mystery about him.
Took me by surprise.
I see him. There he is. Look at him move. Get it, Ronald. Go, Ronald. Go.
He's got some steps.
He looks like he could dance to anything.
Oh, yeah. He's very talented.
Ronaldo.
I love that man.
Unbelievable.
Oh, he's even cooler now than he was before.
Looks like McDonald's is becoming a little more grown up.
Ronald's in the house.
Starting May 9th.
CD changer, amplifier, 4 bookshelf speakers. Ordered by telephone on Cindy Reese's MasterCard. Delivered to 73 William Street. Does Cindy live at 73 William Street? Does anybody? MasterCard pioneered the Address Information Management Service. It helps secure transactions by making sure an address is legitimate. Not an abandoned warehouse. It can tell if someone lives there.
Nice place.
Although it can't say why.
Great neighborhood.
MasterCard. It's smart money.
This is it, where brand new Miller beer begins. Where the hops grow that give new Miller beer its flavor. Because new Miller beer is brewed a totally new way, straight from the heart of the hops, for flavor unlike any other beer. Big flavor that goes down easy. We think so much of this new beer, we're just calling it who we are. Miller. Brand new Miller beer. Reach for what's out there.
Well, the Chicago Bulls already with 4 offensive rebounds in this game. With this kind of effort, Dennis Rodman and Oakley battling hard there, and Oakley taking Rodman down, the foul going against Dennis. Rodman once again thrashing around as Michael Jordan will pick up the loose change in the lane to knock down a little jump shot. And then Michael Jordan letting referee Dan Vaden know to protect Dennis Rodman inside. He's letting him know that he felt Oakley took him down to try to protect Dennis.
And Chicago out-rebounding New York here at the start, 9-1. 3 offensive rebounds for Scottie Pippen. Bulls by 4, 6.5 remaining in this first quarter. John Starks comes up short. And it will be Chicago ball.
And Scottie Pippen is going to have that advantage, not so much always in a post-up position, but with the height advantage for offensive rebounding against the smaller Derek Harper.
Longley. Rodman got to the loose ball, and a foul is called. It's on Oakley, his first.
So Michael Jordan's little chat with the official right before that timeout, letting him know to keep an eye on Oakley and his tactics in trying to keep Dennis Rodman off the boards, and he bought the call.
Here's Jordan to the fadeaway. And that could be a good sign in terms of that lower back injury. Michael Jordan with a baseline fadeaway to give the Bulls a 15-9 lead. Ewing, yes. Bulls 15. The Knicks 11. Second field goal for Patrick Ewing.
And the Knicks have come out of that timeout making a defensive switch. Derek Harper now playing Michael Jordan. Mason on Pippen.
Foul on Harper, called for the hack. We will see different looks right throughout the game against Michael Jordan.
And the Bulls read it very quickly, send Michael down to the low post. He takes the fadeaway shot over Derek Harper. And Patrick Ewing, who so far in this ballgame has felt very comfortable on the perimeter, has not yet taken his time, face up on Luc Longley, and try to drive the ball to the basket. And again, the Bulls are not all that concerned with Patrick taking jump shot after jump shot. They don't want him inside. They don't want him to drive to the basket because they don't want to see Luc Longley pick up fouls.
Jeff Van Gundy who took over from Don Nelson, going against one-time Nick Phil Jackson. Jeff Van Gundy says he's constantly being asked about the age factor concerning the Knicks. But in this series, he points out the Knicks will be the second oldest team on the floor. Ewing rejected by Longley, and Oakley able to convert. Jeff Van Gundy kiddingly said, hey, if the Bulls were just a bit younger, they would have won 74 games this season. Bulls 17, Knicks 13. And Jordan extends to a 6-point lead. Michael Jordan off to a fast start. He has 13 of the Bulls, 19 points. Ewing off the dribble. Clearly beat Longley, but not able to convert.
That's the first time he tried to take it off the dribble, and the crowd reacted, thinking that Patrick Ewing walked with the ball. That's what Phil Jackson has been selling for the last 3 days, that he walks on that move all the time.
Nice pass from Longley. So Jordan with 15, and the Bulls lead 21-13.
Well, the matchup with Mason and Jordan, not so good for Jeff Van Gundy and the Knicks. And now the matchup Harper on Jordan is worse.
Mason guarded by Rodman. Mason is inside. And a loose ball foul against the Bulls.
Michael Jordan with the post-up position, easily able to get up and raise up over Derek Harper, as Michael trying to wipe his hands off or check and see how his back's feeling. If it's hurting, I'm sure it doesn't hurt too much, with 15 points already in this first quarter. Nice feed from Longley.
Foul on Rodman, his second, and Ewing is able to hit on his third field goal. So the Bulls lead 21-15. 4 minutes remaining, first quarter. Oh, short. Had the step, but he got it again, and then came up short.
And furious as he threw his fist in the air, barking at referee Joe Crawford.
Ewing. Rodman with the rebound. That's 4 rebounds for Dennis Rodman. Chicago with the ball. They lead by 6. 3.5 remaining in the first quarter. Rodman. Longley keeps it alive. Well, Ewing altered that shot. Patrick Ewing very active in the series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Patrick Ewing averaged 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 blocked shots in the 3 games in the opening round set against the Cavs. Pippen for 3. And Harper gets to it. 7th offensive rebound by the Bulls. The Knicks with only 1. Here's Longley. Luc Longley very active in this first quarter. That's his second bucket. Bulls lead by 8 points.
That's one thing to get those offensive rebounds, second opportunities. It's another thing to convert, and that really demoralizes the other team.
The Knicks call for time. Michael Jordan continuing the discussion with Joe Crawford, unhappy about what he felt should have been a call a moment ago.
Well, Michael has been aggressive offensively from the get-go. Had Harper beaten twice, and then a third time. Charges into Patrick Ewing. A good non-call there. I thought played too far underneath the basket, but Jordan barks at Crawford. And here's another look at it. Lots of contact. Too far under the hoop.
How'd they do that?
Pennzoil Performax 100. 100% synthetic at a breakthrough price.
100% synthetic at a price this low? How'd they do that?
Leave it to Pennzoil to make synthetic affordable.
How'd they do that?
Hey, there's more. An extra $6 rebate on a case. Or $6 off on an oil change by the pros.
How'd they do
Pennzoil, a broadcast sponsor of NBC's coverage of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games.
These days, trying to get on top of your financial situation is getting tougher and tougher. What you need is someone with experience and know-how. MetLife can help you get a grip on things and help you make sense of it all. Get Met. It pays.
Just what you need from the coupe that takes your breath away. More oxygen. Introducing the all-new Mitsubishi Eclipse convertible. It has quite an effect on drivers, too. The new Eclipse convertible from Mitsubishi.
Tonight at a special time.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
The network television premiere, The Fugitive, NBC tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central.
Bulls by 8, 2:38 remaining. In this first quarter, Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, Dan Hicks from the United Center, Michael Jordan, bad back and all. With 15 of the 23 Chicago points, he's matched the Knicks total. And the Bulls doing it off the boards. They have out-rebounded the Knicks here at the start. 15-4.
And that was Jeff Van Gundy's biggest warning to his team. Had to get out of the matchup with Derek Harper on Pippen. Scottie Pippen with already 3 offensive rebounds.
Oakley came off the pick. Starks able to save it. And the Knicks will have possession with 2 on the shot clock. That was a rush shot by Charles Oakley for the air ball. Here it is, getting it away, just beat the 24. Toni Kukoc has come on for the first time, replacing Dennis Rodman, who picked up a second foul. Rodman sits down with 6 rebounds. Harper continues to defend against Jordan. And the rebound taken by Oakley. Good save. Mason facing a double team. Now Kukoc checking Oakley. Pass by Oakley.
Good defensive sequence by both Kukoc and Pippen as Scottie battling hard. Mason inside as Dennis Rodman, who rests on the bench for Chicago.
And a foul. It's on Starks. His first. Steve Kerr will check it. And Michael Jordan hears it as he heads to the bench, so he'll rest. Sitting down with 15 points on 6 of 10 from the field and 2 of 2 at the free throw line. One of the other very difficult matchups for the Knicks is the man with the ball, Toni Kukoc.
He just had so many beautiful passes from Ron Harper to Scottie Pippen on the backdoor alley-oop. Toni Kukoc just has too much quickness facing the basket for just about any of the defenders for New York, with maybe the exception of Anthony Mason.
Bulls lead by 10. Starks eluding Harper. Oakley with the save. The Knicks get the new 24. 1 minute remaining. And looks like Harper's hurt. Derek Harper shaken up. Knick trainer Mike Saunders over to check him out.
It looked like he got a stinger on the top of the head, at the tip of somebody's elbow, as Derek Harper in some discomfort. Now, the other thing, Marv, they've been talking about the last few days about Michael Jordan's going to the bench and resting. Here's Derek Harper getting the ball out on the perimeter. And now this is a slow reaction to something that happened before. It wasn't a hit and an immediate reaction.
We'll have a report in a moment as Derek makes his way back to the Knick bench.
There on the left side of the screen, as he was backing out, Patrick Ewing, his teammate, coming in from behind, appeared to catch him on the top of the head. Patrick Ewing was the man who got Charles Oakley a few weeks ago.
He's been a dangerous guy. Charlie Ward, who just came on for Derek Harper and had an excellent series against Cleveland, able to convert with the runner. Bulls by 8. Yes, it was an inadvertent elbow by Ewing that caught Oakley in the eye, put him out for 6 games. Kukoc not able to hit off the move against Oakley. Charlie Ward in his 2nd season out of Florida State, being guarded by Ron Harper. Oakley squaring up. And the rebound handled by Pippen. Down to 15 seconds in this first quarter. And the Bulls will hold for a final shot. Kerr checking the clock. Down to 5. Ward knocked it away. Here comes Ewing. Starks unleashing the down. After 1 here at the United Center. In game 1 of this best of 7, it's the Chicago Bulls 25, the New York Knicks 17. You are watching the NBA on NBC.
Dr. Catherine Homrick cares for some very demanding patients in upstate New York.
I drive a lot. Some days I'll drive up to 300 miles a day to see my clients.
Fortunately, this veterinarian drives the reliable Mitsubishi Galant.
My Galant makes my life a lot easier. With the weather being unpredictable, it's real important that I have a dependable vehicle.
The Mitsubishi Galant, a car you can depend on, even when it's raining cats and dogs. The Galant from Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
Get this. She wants to change her name from Heather to Feather.
Dad, recycle.
Bill's going nuts. Save the whales, save the llamas. She's very picky about her food.
Fried chicken.
Bill thinks he's losing his little girl and his Kentucky Fried Chicken. So last night he brings him a bucket.
Hello.
And in it, he's got the original recipe and this new tender roast. It's in pieces. Yeah, it's a whole new deal.
Okay, this is new.
Bill's got his fried pieces. Heather's got her roasted pieces.
Thanks, Dad.
And I've just got peace.
New tender roast. Now, any way you like it, roasted or fried, all you need is a little KFC.
This is for Mr. Blanchard, who told me to make something of myself. For Miss Miller, who never let me settle for a seat. For my parents, who believe in my dreams. For myself, for my future.
Be all that you can be.
The NBA on NBC. The 1996 NBA playoffs.
Well, the Knicks and Bulls are renewing what has been an intense rivalry in recent years. The Bulls have certainly had their way, although the Knicks did win in '94 when Michael Jordan was in semi-retirement. But there's a bit of history with an edge involved, and we talked about that with Scottie Pippen.
I don't feel like it's a dislike. You know, I think that the rivalry has grown between these two teams over the years, and it's just been very professional. It's not like the Bulls, the Detroit series, where they walked away. You know, we've really respected this club a few years ago when they knocked us out and they went on to the finals, even though they wasn't able to beat the Rockets. But I think we're just two competitive teams that have a lot of respect for one another, but it is some hatred out on the court when we compete.
Well, this rivalry started with the two coaches, Phil Jackson and Pat Riley, about 5 years ago, just not liking each other. You have all those playoff meetings. You have the best player on the planet, Michael Jordan, going against one of the best centers in Patrick Ewing. Lots of physical play, some hatred, and barely enough respect.
And here's Pippen. Longley gets to the rebound. Kerr for 3. Steve Kerr will finish second in three-point field goal percentage to Tim Legler of the Bullets. Able to hit on his first three-point attempt. Second quarter is underway. Ewing on the reverse as Longley lost him, and the Bulls now lead 28-19. Michael Jordan is back. Hubert Davis has come on for the first time for the Knicks, and he is now facing a mismatch in guarding Scottie Pippen.
And the Bulls recognize it. Scottie going inside right away. Jordan doesn't even look at it, tries to score. Michael only sitting out that minute 34 of the end of the first quarter. Phil Jackson does not want him sitting too long and getting stiff.
Knicks go to the 3 guards with Mason and Ewing on the front line. Van Gundy staying with this alignment for good portions in the last couple of weeks. Anthony Mason with his second field goal, and the Bulls now lead by 7. They've led by as many as 10. Here is Jordan. Well, he's missed his last 4 shots. Davis protecting the dribble that collides with Jordan. Starks unleashing. And Jordan able to race it down. John Starks has missed his first 5. Pippen, it counts, and the foul. Beautiful spin by Pippen to draw the foul on Davis.
And Michael Jordan throwing a pass even Charlie Ward would be very proud of. A little down and in to Scottie Pippen on the pattern. Perfect pass, the football variety, as Pippen with the height advantage over Hubert Davis waits, takes his time, and gets the finish.
Scottie Pippen, who has been able to come out of that late season drop-off, but he'd been bothered by an assortment of ailments, turned it up against Miami. Averaged just under 20 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Off the track, the Bulls get it back. And Kerr knocks down a 3. This is where the Bulls are so dangerous. Looking to run off a streak, and the Knicks were trying to call for time. They could not, and it cost another turnover.
Well, Jeff Van Gundy frantically trying to take the timeout. I think his players were half watching, half trying to execute the quickness as Reid does not come to meet the basketball, and Kerr makes them pay with the 3, and the Knicks don't get the timeout, and the run is starting to hurt.
The NBA playoffs continue on NBC next weekend.
I do not drive to work. I do not drive to get from point A to point B. I do not drive to run away from the world. I just love to drive.
The new 1996 Monte Carlo. Personal space from genuine Chevrolet. The cars more Americans trust. See your Chevy dealer for special 4.8% APR financing on Monte Carlo.
Work boots. Tough on the outside, tough on your feet inside. Not enough cushioning. Dr. Scholl's Maximum Comfort work insoles give you 100% more cushioning. They make work easier on your feet.
Rust-Oleum, the ultimate defense against weather.
I'm dead. Dead? I got 47 boxes to ship out by tonight.
Easy. FedEx shipping software. It's just point, click, and ship.
Really?
Bramwell thinks I'm working my tail off. Just point, click, and ship. Take a long lunch. Point, click, and ship. Play a little golf. Point, click, ship.
FedEx shipping software is so easy. Just point, click, and ship from your own computer.
Mr. Bramwell. I'm dead.
You're dead.
I'm dead.
You are really, really dead.
For free shipping software, call FedEx.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. And by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Dan Hicks back at the United Center where the Bulls have opened up a 13-point lead over the New York Knicks. Derek Harper took a shot in the back of the neck a few minutes ago. I talked to the bench and they said he will return, but he's going to have to shake it off. He was more stunned than anything. Marv?
All right, Dan, he took a shot accidentally from his teammate, Patrick Ewing. The Bulls with a 34-21 lead on the Knicks. It's their biggest lead of the game. Here's Kerr for 3. J.R. Reid is on the floor for the first time. Did not play at all in the series against the Cavaliers. So the Knicks now have Reid with Ewing and Mason up front. Davis and Ward in the backcourt. Anthony Mason with a good rebound. Mason. Crowd wants a travel. Here's Ward. Charlie Ward with his second field goal. So the Bulls lead 34-23.
This is the way the Knicks started the game, with that mindset to drive the ball to the basket, beat their man off the dribble, to try to break down that defense and get inside and make something happen. It worked early, and then the Knicks got away from it.
Good hustle by Ward. But apparently stepped out of bounds. Here's John Salley for Luc Longley. Longley with 4 points. Kukoc just a moment ago took that three. He's now 1 for 17 from downtown in the playoff. Jordan, that's too easy. From the Knicks point of view, much too easy as he goes up now against Hubert Davis.
Well, the triangle offense has been shortened dramatically. Find the mismatch and go to it. And it's either going to be Jordan or Pippen in post positions, as Jordan, eyes lighting up against former North Carolinian alum Hubert Davis. And the Knicks not coming to double team, trying to play one-on-one coverage. Can't do it.
So the Bulls lead 36-23. The double team. Pippen solidly got a piece of the basketball, but it deflected out of bounds. The Bulls' defensive pressure has been smothering the Knicks. That is what has given them this big lead. They've gone to the trap upon occasion, though kind of softly, but enough to bother the Knicks.
And that's where Chicago is scary. Not so much with their half-court offense, the trial, or anything like that. It's what they do on the boards and what they do with their defense.
From Kukoc. The Bulls now lead by 15. Jordan has 19 points. Here's Mason from Ward. It appeared that the Knicks were trying to call for timeout.
That play has been troubling for the Knicks. That time it was troubling for Chicago, as they may have expected it and didn't get back in transition.
Jordan to the and rebounded by Reid. J.R. Reid playing for the injured Charles Oakley in that Knick wipeout of the Bulls at the Garden. Played very well in that particular game. Well, Atlanta wraps up Indiana 89-87. They win it in 5. Despite the return of Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing putting a move on John Salley. Pookie Blaylock, 23 points, 7 rebounds in that game. How about that final score? 64 points for Portland, an NBA record for fewest points in a playoff game, as Utah beats Portland in 5. Timeout called by the Bulls. We'll be right back.
It's equal parts sweat and steel. It's decisions made in the split of a second. And pain endured for the length of a day. And at the finish, you're either toasting victory or getting set to do it all over again next week. It's auto racing, the way we do it on the Miller team.
Of all the things trucks can do, there's one thing that's never been done before. Only Chevy trucks have ever won back-to-back Motor Trend Truck of the Year awards.
Take me to the garden. Say, you're our Keem Elijah one, aren't you? Right. You really did a number on us 2 years ago. Where we going? The garden. What's the nutty toy? Choker.
Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers, because nothing will hold you over like peanuts, caramel, and milk chocolate.
Well, here we are. The garden.
Hungry? Why wait?
There's a 2-inch thick line, 22 feet from the basket that knows me well. I always know where it is, but I won't let it break my concentration. It comes from practice, hour after hour, shot after shot, until I forget that line, until I forget the gym, everything. That's when my stroke is pure.
Tonight, Paul and Jamie's love is put to the ultimate test.
You and I were having trouble.
The countdown to the season finale of Mad About You continues NBC tonight.
Well, with the history between these two teams, there has been much anticipation of a Bulls-Knicks series in New York and Chicago, but both clubs have been carefully avoiding lashing out at each other, at least to this point. We talked about that with Bulls coach Phil Jackson.
We're fighting for something that's very precious to both of us, and that's the chance to go on and keep your season alive. And until death starts knocking on the door to both these teams, I think they're going to be pretty quiet. But at some point in this series, things are going to happen. But right now, this is like a, this is like a 15-round knockout heavyweight battle. You're not going to start before the bell rings doing the rabbit punching. So we're going to wait till we get farther on in this series before things happen.
Well, I'd say give it a little time. We are very early. Dennis Rodman just checked back in, has collected his third personal foul, and Hubert Davis knocks it down. So the Bulls now lead 38-29 for Davis, his first field goal attempt.
Well, Phil Jackson got his licks in a few days ago, citing the walking that Patrick Ewing, he feels, gets away with. Patrick Ewing getting older. Patrick has to do a lot of scoring for the Knicks to win. And, of course, he's always pointing out the physical play of New York against his guys who never touch anybody.
Traveling violation on Davis. Let's check in with Dan Hicks. Dan?
Well, Marv, you just saw trainer Chip Schaefer working on Michael Jordan. So far, so good. No problems, but the important thing is to try to keep him loose, and the important thing will be to try to keep him loose during the first half intermission. That's going to be a concern of the Bulls, Marv.
All right, Dan, Michael Jordan erupting at the start of the game. 19 points, 15 in the first quarter. Bulls now lead by 9. Derek Harper back coming up with that steal. Here's Harper beating Kerr off the dribble. Pretty move by Harper.
Well, Derek loves that crossover going right to left, and Steve Kerr raising up, not ready for it, as Harper easily got to the basket.
8-0 run by the Knicks.
And the rest of the Chicago transition defense a little bit slow getting back as Steve Kerr's footwork all out of whack there, and none of the big people. James Edwards there to help out.
Well, there Steve Kerr's footwork was very fine as he's able to hit a unusual shot, at least for him, on the runner. 6 minutes left in the first half. Here's J.R. Reid over Toni Kukoc. Bulls lead 40-33. The Bulls led by as many as 15. That 8-0 spurt getting the Knicks back into it. Pippen played by Davis. Mason over to help. Shot clock at 5. Here's Kukoc for 3. Pippen dumps it off. Kukoc. He was fouled. Kukoc to the line. The story to this point in the first half, J.R. Reid on the foul. Michael Jordan getting set to return. The Knicks yet to get to the free throw line. John Starks 0 for 5 from the field. And Michael Jordan, despite the bad back, with 19 points. Those are the numbers that stand out in this first half.
And the offensive rebounding onslaught by the Chicago Bulls, and this was the big fear of New York coming in. You know when you're going against a Dennis Rodman, you're going to have rebounding problems the way he goes to the glass. Just 4 offensive rebounds for New York, and you see, and that's the difference in the ball game as far as the scoring is concerned on that offensive glass. You know Jeff Van Gundy is going to let his team hear about it at halftime if he hasn't already.
Randy Brown has come on for Steve Kerr. Brown, a good defensive player, guarding Derek Harper. Dennis Rodman's trying to draw a foul in a battle with Anthony Mason down low. Reid posting up and is called traveling violation.
Well, Rodman and Anthony Mason banging without the ball, and Dennis is doing this with 3 personal fouls. He's a veteran, he knows how to do it, but he also has a feeling he doesn't trust the referees, but this is how he plays.
Now Jordan guarded by Harper, lost the dribble, saves it, shot clock at 7. Brown. What a rare shot opportunity for Brown, and something developing here. Double technical being indicated by Joe Crawford.
The New York Knicks, Harper.
On Harper and Jordan.
They're getting all tangled up in and around the basket, and they were locked up, and as they separated, both had something to say to one another. The official, Joe Crawford, the lead referee, taking control, calling the double tag.
Reid nearly traveled again. Davis for 3.
Nearly. Picking him up and laying him down. An obvious walk by J.R. Reid, whose game is out of mothballs after not seeing any action in the Cleveland series.
Meanwhile, Jordan and Harper continue to play each other in very physical fashion. Here's Brown filling it off that field goal a moment ago. Mason protecting the dribble. Harper the ball. And deflected out. Loose ball foul, says Joe Crawford. Crawford had the view from outside, and he's called it on James Edwards, who checked in just a moment ago.
Played on Michael Jordan with that sore back, playing ever so gently, not really getting involved very much. Take a look at him as he and Harper are just banging away at each other, and they continue it every time Michael gets in and around the hoop.
Bulls lead by 8, just under 4 minutes to go, first half. A foul against the Bulls. Again, Edwards, his second. Meanwhile, the conversation continues between Michael Jordan and Derek Harper.
I think Michael is letting Derek. He does not want his hands anywhere near him at any time, but they're both going to have to be very careful with their trash talking, if that's what it is.
And both can handle that aspect of the game. Harper on the pass, a master of the hand check. But the rules have changed up a bit. Davis.
Well, right now, the Chicago Bulls pressure defense, the aggressive defense, has some of the Knicks players, in particular, J.R. Reid and Hubert Davis, just discombobulated as they are rushing things, hurrying things.
Patrick Ewing and John Starks getting set to return. Chicago is led by as many as 15. They are up now by 8. Kukoc setting up on Reid. Foul committed by Reid. So for J.R. Reid, his second. And he'll head to the bench along with Hubert Davis. Starks and Ewing are back. Toni Kukoc. 2 of 2 at the free throw line. Phil Jackson going with Kukoc off the bench here today. Dennis Rodman, who had not been in the starting lineup, in the starting lineup. Well, because of our NBA coverage, Dateline Sunday taking the night off. They'll be back May the 19th. Coming up next, the countdown continues to the season finale of Mad About You, and then Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones star in the network premiere of The Fugitive. That's all tonight after the game here on NBC. Harper splitting his way through to draw the foul. Randy Brown picks it up, and the Bulls with their 13th foul. The Knicks have 4. Ron Harper being waved on. Scottie Pippen will also return, replacing Dennis Rodman and Randy Brown.
Well, Dennis Rodman is definitely frustrated, not only with the amount of playing time that he's getting. He wants to be in there. He lives to rebound, but he does have foul problems with 3.
Mason met by the double team. Looking for Ewing. Patrick Ewing taking advantage of the inside-outside game. 12 for Ewing, and a a good pass out off an aggressive double team, but Mason was able to find Ewing.
And it appears Anthony Mason is the first option as far as the inside game is concerned, but Patrick Ewing continues to play on the perimeter.
And the foul against the Knicks. It's on Oakley. His second. 2:36 left, first half. Bulls 46, the Knicks 38.
The internet will be the biggest thing since the Industrial Revolution. The internet will be just a chat line for physicists and video game addicts. Someday, your web address will be everything. One day on the internet, the Colonel's secret formula will whiz past the secret formula for Pepsi. What will the internet be? No one knows. But we engineer systems in anticipation of this vast uncertainty. So you can approach it as one huge opportunity. Digital, whatever it takes.
I'm Jim McKay with another update from the 2020 Global Games. Little Jacqueline Keller captured the gold today on the highly uneven bars, while Austria's gentle giant Milos dominated the one-ton power lift. The highlight of the day so far was the record-breaking 300-meter dolphin relay.
The world of sports has evolved since all sport. Now with B vitamins, athletes need to unlock carbohydrate energy. It's more than a thirst quencher, it's a body quencher.
Coming up later, the graduated hurdles.
Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me.
Chevy's got the highest resale value of any full-size pickup.
Like a rock.
Of course, to find that out, you'd have to sell it.
Tonight at a special time.
Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes.
The network television premiere of the motion picture blockbuster. Where else but on NBC?
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
Tommy Lee Jones, sisters Celia Ward and Harrison Ford as The Fugitive. NBC tonight at 8:30, 7:30 Central.
We're going to see the aggressive double team of the Chicago defense as Anthony Mason shows good patience here. The open man Ewing here and a man on the baseline as Toni Kukoc has to decide which one to cover. And Mason with that little bit extra time finding Patrick Ewing out for the open jump shot.
And a different story in the second quarter for the New York Knicks, who are only 8 of 24 from the field in the first, but they've hit 10 of 14, 71% shooting in the second quarter. Michael Jordan with 20. And the Bulls now lead 47-38. 2:36 left in the first half. Bulls 8 of 8 at the line. The Knicks have not been at the free throw strike.
And they have been taking the ball to the basket. They have been getting the opportunities, but the Chicago Bulls have been very careful of just playing defense with their feet, playing smart defense and not just hacking away.
Oakley's pass blocked by Kukoc. Time running down. Shot clock at 3. Ewing gets it off and hits. Patrick Ewing with a sensational shot with the 24 running down. He was looking for a 3. It's a 2-pointer, and the Knicks are down by 8. Just under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Edwards had it knocked away, but a foul, a reach-in on Ewing on the 41-year-old James Edwards.
Well, Patrick has been hanging on the perimeter, this time with the shot clock winding down. Clearly a foot on the line. He wanted the three-pointer. The official, Donnie Vaden, right on top of it.
James Edwards in his 19th season. He has played for 8 different NBA teams. He has 2 championship rings as a member of the Detroit Pistons. Earlier this season on the injured list with a sprained back. Overall, it's his 12th playoff appearance. Bulls lead by 10. A minute 40 to go. First half. Shot clock at 5. Mason with the shot clock at 2. Starks. Harper taking it to the hoop in very strong fashion.
And the strategy is sound. This is the weakness of the Chicago Bulls. They do not have shot blocking. They do not have strong interior defense. If you can get by the first wave of pressure, you can get to the basket.
Harper's done a nice job against Jordan. Michael now 8 of 16 from the field. Chicago leads by 8. The Knicks trying to swing the ball. They did it so effectively against Cleveland. Oakley is fouled. That was one of the differences in the Knicks play after what had to be considered a very uneven season. They swung the ball. They made good decisions in the 3-game sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Different story, obviously, against a club like the Chicago Bulls, but showing some signs here in the second quarter.
Well, that's what Jeff Van Gundy has been preaching this team ever since he took over the job from Don Nelson, is that unselfishness. Make that a contagious thing where we keep moving the ball, and consequently, when you do that, you're going to get better looks at the basket, get better shots in rhythm, and it certainly did pay off against Cleveland. But also, you got to remember, Cleveland's defensive scheme altogether different. They have to play totally a different type than the Chicago Bulls. Lots of double teaming.
Well, the Knicks at the line for the first time tonight. The Bulls led by as many as 15. It is now a 6-point advantage. The Knicks have hit 12 of 18 from the field in the second quarter. Here's Jordan facing a double team. Michael Jordan with 23. Bulls 52. The Knicks 44.
Well, the Bulls just take advantage of it every time. And Michael, with that height advantage, they have to come and double team now. I think they're going to have to come as soon as he catches the ball, make him give it up to somebody else.
Harper for 3. Derek Harper feeling it now. He brings the Knicks within 5. Final seconds of the half. Timeout taken by Phil Jackson with 5 seconds left. In the second quarter, it's a 20-second timeout.
Well, Michael started out the game being guarded by Mason. He took him outside now with Derek Harper on him, the smaller player going inside. Starks tries to come, but Harper gave up the baseline side. Nobody could get there to help. Patrick Ewing came belatedly as Michael just works and works. You have to pin him very tight and very quickly.
Well, the last 8 minutes and 45 seconds, the Knicks have outscored the Bulls 24-14, so they've closed from the 15-point differential down to 5. See the stat line on Jordan in this first half, despite the bad back. The Knicks have also picked it up off the boards in the second quarter, led by Oakley with 6 rebounds. 5 seconds remaining of the half. Kukoc to throw in. He has Kerr back on the floor. Jordan off the fake. Able to hit. Michael Jordan with 1 8/10 seconds remaining in the half. And Starks coming up short. Jordan finishes with 25 for the half. On 10 of 18 shooting, 4 of 4 at the line. It's a 7-point Chicago lead as we head to the second half. Off the fake, Jordan able to hit.
Well, Michael Jordan holding his spot at the top of the key and just working, getting that shot up and over Harper.
Coming up, Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report right after these words.
It's the only one out there. And here it comes. Introducing the only compact pickup to offer a third door. Okay, folks, show's over. Chevy S-Series, like a rock.
Carbon monoxide isn't the only thing to worry about coming from your tailpipe, because with
every stroke of your engine, motor oil is being vaporized into exhaust, leaving less and less protection. That's why there's Castrol GTX 10W30. Of every leading 10W30, Castrol provides the most protection against volatility burn-off. So use Castrol, or watch more of your protection go up in smoke. Castrol GTX, the most protection against volatility burn-off.
Picture this, a romantic comedy written directed by me, starring you and Tyra Banks, be a smash.
Yeah, that's fine, Spike. Listen, Spike, no disrespect, but I'm trying to watch my main man Penny dismantle the Knicks.
What's up, Spike? What's up?
Hey, Penny, pass it to Nick. No, not Nick. Horse. Penny, pass it to Horse. He's open. On the baseline. On the baseline. What? 5 seconds.
Penny. Thanks a lot.
Hey, just trying to help a man. Now, Spike, about that film. Is this an action flick? Because I do my own stunts.
Pizza Hut, your triple deckeroni pizza. Shh, baby.
Whoa! Wow! What a pizza!
New Pizza Hut Triple Deckeroni Pizza. 90 pepperoni pieces, 6 cheeses, 2 crusts, 1 hellacious taste.
Remember the shot that stunned Shinnecock?
Beautifully struck there, right at the flag. Watch out for this one. This is the shot of his life.
The National Championship, the U.S. Open, coming this June to NBC.
Halftime of Game 1 in Chicago. The Bulls lead the Knicks 54-47. Michael Jordan sizzling with 25 points. Now, coming up for most of you, except on the West Coast, an extended break for your local news. After that, we'll bring you highlights of the 2 early games in the NBA this afternoon, Atlanta, Indiana, and Portland, Utah. First, these messages from your local station.
Tuesday, all new must-see TV. On Third Rock, Sally's gonna meet her boyfriend's mom, Naomi Judd. Quick, think of a way to impress her.
You sure squeezed out a winner, lady.
Uh-oh. Then on Wings, it's supermodel Carol Alt in a cultural exhibition.
Yeah, that's it.
Then, till now, they've just been friends. But Tuesday...
I think I'm gonna tell him I love him.
Bad idea? Doesn't look like it. And Lara kids make me laugh.
I'm on it.
All new NBC Tuesday.
Wouldn't it be great if everything in your home came with it, instead of being extra? Finally, an extra that really does come with your home. A free homeowner's checking account from Standard Federal Bank. There's no monthly service charge, no minimum balance requirement, and no per-check fees, no matter how many checks you write. And here's another extra that doesn't cost extra. 30 minutes of free long-distance calls. Free homeowners checking, helping you get the extras you really want. Only from Standard Federal Bank.
What troubles you, my son? I have deep feelings of guilt.
John Baker bought a Lumina instead of a Taurus.
I gave in to my craving for power.
Lumina has more power than Taurus.
I gave in to my penny-pinching ways.
Lumina's $14.50 less than Taurus.
You bought a Chevy Lumina, didn't you, my son?
Saved a bundle.
There's no sin in saving.
Chevy Lumina from $17,095 at your West Michigan Chevy dealers.
Don't miss the boats at Camp and Cruise. Just $59.99 for this 18-foot pontoon, 15-horsepower motor packed with accessories. $110 a month at Camp and Cruise. Only $79.99 for this 20-foot pontoon, 40-horsepower motor loaded with extras. $115 a month at Camp and Cruise. All pontoon packages have furniture, motor light, top furniture covers, and free delivery. Compare the selection, compare the service, and don't miss the Johnson Outboards Johnson now at Camp and Cruise. Take I-96 West, exit 23.
The Kona Satellite, only on 24-Hour News 8.
Good evening and welcome to this 24-hour News 8 halftime update. I'm Rick Roberts. Meteorologist Mick O'Hearn will have a look at your forecast in a moment. But first, here's what's making news tonight. A 21-year-old Fruitport man is paralyzed and in critical condition after being body slammed headfirst into pavement. Robert Ward suffered a broken neck and spinal cord damage after a fight last night at a Wesco gas station in Fruitport. His friends say Ward and another man got into an argument over a woman. That argument soon turned violent.
Tried to get out, and the guy was slamming his head in the door, and then they got out and they started fighting. And then the guy just grabbed him quick, slammed him on the ground. It was just a body slam, and that was it. He was just laying there.
Well, doctors say it'll be another week to 10 days before they know whether Ward will be permanently paralyzed. Police are still looking for the other man in the fight. Kalamazoo police are looking for 2 suspects in an early morning shooting. A 38-year-old woman was shot in the leg. The shots rang out around 4 this morning at the Candlewick apartment complex off Kilgore Road. The victim was treated and released from Bronson Hospital. According to police, the suspects walked up to the woman's second-story apartment and began firing into the door. And 2 men visiting the apartment at the time of the shooting were arrested on homicide and narcotics charges stemming from incidents in Battle Creek. Investigators believe they were the intended victims of this morning's shooting. It was standing room only at the Ford Fieldhouse in Grand Rapids this morning for Campus Safari. Middle and high school students gathered to spread the news of salvation in Christ. More than 3,500 people packed in. Instead of being preached to by adults, the event was mainly led by students. They used a very informal approach to a very serious subject. The event used a combination of music, drama, martial arts, and other ways to get their message across.
Well, we're going with the fast pace because kids like fast pace. Sometimes these students are called the MTV generation, and so we keep it fast-paced. But I think the important thing that we're trying to do is we're having students minister to students. That's the important thing.
This is the 6th year that this event has taken place. Attendance is up almost 1,000 students from last year. And attendance up at the Public Museum of Grand Rapids today thanks to a larger-than-life exhibit. Menacing life-size dinosaurs are roaming the museum. 16 robotic dinosaurs are seen in modern-day West Michigan settings. One of the big animals is roaming about the Holland Tulip Festival. The others are at Old Kent Park and the Tunnel Beach at Holland State Park. Some 2,000 people saw the dinosaurs today.
For a normal Sunday, our attendance compared to a normal Sunday has been higher since the exhibit opened today, and we expected that. We expect larger numbers than normal because people are interested in seeing the dinosaurs.
The Dynamation dinosaurs, as they're known, will be spending the summer at the Public Museum of Grand Rapids. The life in the Big Apple should be back to normal for New Yorkers soon. A turn-of-the-century water main burst near Times Square today, flooding the area with a rushing river of water. West Side subway stations were underwater. Mayor Rudolph Giuliani says no one was hurt and damage was isolated. Officials say it may take a couple of weeks to pinpoint what caused the break, but they say age alone may not be a factor. Subway and bus services are back on track for tomorrow's busy rush hour. Taking sports now, the Red Wings used a red-hot offense to take a 2-0 lead over the St. Louis Blues in their Stanley Cup Series. The Wings scored 4 goals in the 3 minutes against the Blues. Steve Yzerman got a rebound goal to put the Wings up 1-0 in the first, and Detroit never looked back. Later, Yzerman will find Darren McCarthy to put the Wings up 4-0. Detroit wins at 8-3. Matt Weiner will have all that 8 scores and highlights tonight at 11. Stay right there. Meteorologist Mick O'Hearn is up next with your forecasts.
When we broke our first sales record, we were pleased. The second and third, very pleased indeed. The fourth, we were motivated. So during the Dodge Best Buy celebration, we're pleased to offer this Best Buy, Dodge Intrepid. Standard, it's got more passenger room, power, and equipment than Ford Taurus. And now, with up to $1,500 cash savings, this Best Buy simply can't get any better. Every Special Olympics athlete deserves an opportunity. With your donation, it could be golden.
Menards brings out the best in outdoor living and style with Bellastone Turf from Bretland. It's extra durable, backed by a 3-year warranty. Choose from teal or beige, just $5.33 a square yard. Relax. With Sunbeam Lawn Furniture, choose from many styles. The Crosspoint set comes with 4 chairs and glass table. Now just $299.95. Menards is your savings place for Sunbeam Furniture.
Save big money at Menards.
Don't miss the boats at Camp & Cruise. Just $59.99 for this 18-foot pontoon, 15-horsepower motor packed with accessories. $110 a month at Camp & Cruise. Only $79.99 for this 20-foot pontoon, 40-horsepower motor loaded with extras. $115 a month at Camp & Cruise. All pontoon packages have furniture, motor light, top furniture covers, and free delivery. Compare the selection, compare the service, and don't miss the Johnson Outboards Johnson now at Camp & Cruise. Take I-96 West, exit 23.
When you're styling, when you're styling, the whole world smiles with you. And when you're laughing, oh, you're laughing. And the sun comes shining through.
Race fans, as a NASCAR sponsor, Supercuts supports the Indy US 500 time trials. Race in for a haircut, shampoo, and a free ticket to the time trials. Only at Supercuts.
Now, there are a few instances I thought the sun might peek out today, but not to be.
It was a struggle, and the clouds won out. I think the sun will be a little more victorious tomorrow.
Good deal.
But it's not going to be great. We still have an unsettled weather pattern to talk about over the next couple of days. It's really getting rather boring because there's no change out there until maybe late in the week when things are going to finally start to be a little bit more spring-like temperature-wise. And we'll show you that here in a second. Let's check out the numbers for today, and we were cool once again. You know, we should be up around low 60s, mid 60s across the viewing area, and we only managed 55 in Grand Rapids, 57 degrees, warm spot in Kalamazoo, and lows this morning fortunately did stay above the freezing mark with the coldest spot right here in town at 42 degrees. Now, we are drying out there. We did have a couple of sprinkles earlier today. Quite a few clouds to look forward to for the rest of tonight. But all the precipitation you'll see moving across the state, the only real bulk is off towards the north here, and maybe we'll see a couple of sprinkles around the Grand Rapids area, Muskegon north. But I think as the evening progresses, we will continue to dry out. Now, our temperatures are a little on the cool side, but they're not real bad. It's 54 Muskegon and Lansing, Battle Creek. One of the warmer spots, Kalamazoo, coming in at 57 degrees, and off towards the north, we are seeing some 40s, 41 right now in Marquette, down to 34, though, in Iron Mountain. We'll be seeing our temperatures drop into the 40s later on tonight, and then as we get towards the later part of the week, finally getting up to some 70-degree weather. At the Kent County Airport right now with cloudy skies, a few sprinkles around the area, 53, the dew point's at 36, so that gives us a relative humidity right at about 53%. The pressure is on its way down. Winds are out of the east at about 12 miles an hour, and the only rain we really had measured here in Grand Rapids, just a trace. Now, I mentioned the weather pattern is boring. We have a very stagnant type pattern set up. The winds are blowing aloft at about 35,000 feet, basically west to east, and we have a frontal system that's stretched out right through here. There's no place for it to go. It's just sitting parallel with the wind field, so that's why we're going to keep an unsettled pattern over the next few days, and unfortunately, we're going to stay on the north side of this boundary. That means our temperatures will continue to average below normal. On the south side of that front, 70s and 80s today. And eventually, later in the week, the front will start to work its way northward and pass through the state. We'll get on the southern side of it, and that means we'll finally see an end to the unsettled pattern and some warmer temperatures. Low pressure continuing right along that boundary, providing some showers and thunderstorms, especially across the south and along the Ohio River. That's where the bulk of the real heavy stuff will be. You can see some of that activity right now. Tomorrow morning, the front still south of us will dry out a little bit, so we'll see a little bit of sunshine. Temperatures still a little cool, maybe getting around 60 degrees right through here, some 50s off towards the north. Then by Tuesday morning, you can see that front's coming closer and closer to the north. That'll bring a chance of showers during the day on Tuesday. And then maybe as we get towards Thursday, as we'll see in our 5-day, we'll start to warm up. But in the meantime, our forecast for tonight is going to look like this. It'll be a cloudy one out there, a couple of sprinkles here and there, mainly this evening. Lows by tomorrow morning, anywhere from 40 to 43 degrees. Then tomorrow, we'll call it variably cloudy. I do believe we'll see a little bit of sunshine out there, probably more than we saw today. Highs 56 to 60 degrees. The lake forecast for tomorrow, if you're going to be going out there, an east wind at 5 to 15 knots, waves only about 1 to 2 feet. And there's our extended outlook, folks. Finally, I get to say we're going to see some more seasonal weather. Chance of showers and thunderstorms as that front moves north through the state into Thursday. But then we get on the southern side, 70 degrees, and then maybe 74 and sunny by Friday. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Next weekend could be our first real nice weekend.
All right, thanks, Mick. Enjoy the game. We'll see you back here at 11.
The 1996 NBA playoffs. This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a flag, be your own rock.
Halftime in Chicago, the Bulls lead the Knicks 54-47. Knicks had trailed by as many as 15. Patrick Ewing leads them with 14, while Michael has been Michael Jordan with 25 first-half points. Bob Costas back at our Manhattan studios. There were two early playoff games today, both decisive Game 5s. We start with the Pacers hosting the Hawks at Market Square Arena. Now, the big question as the day began, would Reggie Miller play for Indiana some 3 weeks after suffering a fractured eye socket? And here is the answer as Miller comes charging out of the dressing room. Great reception from the Pacer fans, and he played a terrific game despite the layoff. He got 16 of his game-high 29 in the fourth. This trade gives Indiana an 84-83 lead. They had been down by as many as 9 in the second half. On the Hawks' next possession, Mookie Blaylock will miss, and Steve Smith turns in a huge play, tapping it home, and they regain the lead. Now with under a minute left, Blaylock blows by the Pacer defense and lays it in. Hawks extend their lead to 5. Indiana got back to within 2. They had one last shot to tie or win it, but Miller's shot in traffic is off the mark. The Hawks win it 89-87, and they go on to face Orlando in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Here's post-game reaction.
No, I'm not no Superman, even though people perceive me to be that way. This wasn't guaranteed just because I was suiting up we were going to win this game. To tell you the truth, it probably made it a lot harder.
I'm so excited about this. I haven't had a chance to think about Orlando, but we're going to prepare for them. You know, we played them well most of the time. One game this year, we did not play well against them, and they blew us out. But we beat them a couple of times during the year. So we're looking forward to it. Hey, listen, we're America's guests right now because no one expects us to be there. So we're going to have fun with it, and we're going to go out there and try and win.
And the fun starts in that best-of-7 with Orlando on Wednesday night. There was also a Game 5 in the West today, Portland at Utah, and this one got out of hand early, so other amusements were needed, and it's good to see that Evel Knievel has finally found productive work. Utah blew it open in the second quarter. John Stockton with the setup for Chris Morris. The Rainbow 3, a 12-2 run. They open up a 16-point lead. Off the Rod Strickland miss here. John Stockton will grab the rebound. He'll whirl and fire a beautiful pass to Brian Russell, who will then slam it down. Utah led 46-24 at the half. Portland's 24 points, an NBA playoff low for a half. In the second half, things didn't get any better. Russell will outlet to the mailman off the rebound. Karl Malone led Utah with 25. The Jazz wins it 102-64. Portland's total of 64, lowest ever for an NBA team in a playoff game since the advent of the 24-second clock in the mid-50s. The Jazz now play the Spurs in a best-of-7 series, which opens on Tuesday night at the Alamo Dome. Here's our schedule for next weekend. On Saturday, showtime at 12:30 Eastern, then Game 3 of the Knicks and Bulls. That'll be followed by Game 3 of the Spurs and Jazz. On Sunday, a triple header starting with showtime at noon, then Game 3 of the Orlando-Atlanta series. The middle game is Game 4 of the Sonics and Rockets, and the nightcap is Game 4 of the Chicago-New York series from Madison Square Garden. Right now in Game 1 of that series, the Bulls lead the Knicks by 7. And back we go to Marv, Matt, and Dan for the second half right after these messages.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a flag, be your own rock.
I am a grandfather that takes pleasure in doing anything I can for the kids, and they know it too. I've never been rich and never really wanted to be. I just feel you should live comfortably, but you don't need to be a fool about it. I try to impart that to my grandchildren. And you got to have a goal and an aim in life in order to get anywhere.
The job needs 4 guys now, and the guys need all their equipment. You're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does too. Meet the all-new 1997 Ford F-150, the only full-size pickup with a standard Super Cab third door, 60/40 split rear bench, and standard dual airbags, plus a taller cab for more hat and boot room than ever. After all, the guys aren't getting any smaller. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
Back in Chicago, 7-point Bulls lead. Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, and Dan Hicks as we head to the second half here at the United Center. The Knicks down by as many as 15, able to make it a game as We're looking at the Middle Light halftime statistics, and Matt, the Knicks able to turn it around with a 13 for 19 second quarter.
Well, an unusually high amount of shots for both of these teams, and I don't know if the Knicks can win a ball game with that much scoring. They're going to have to slow it down to some degree, and the Bulls having the big edge in free throw shooting. 11 for 11 as the Knicks, despite taking the ball to the basket time and time again, are not getting fouled, and Michael Jordan just having a brilliant first half.
10 of 18 from the field. He had 15 of the first quarter, 10 in the second. For more on that, let's go to Dan Hicks.
All right, thank you, Marv. The word for Chicago is good news on their bench because Michael Jordan seemingly no ill effects in the first half. He spent most of the intermission stretching with the trainer Chip Schaefer, but is feeling pretty good. As for the Knicks, I just talked to Coach Jeff Van Gundy, and he said his team preached rebounding in the locker room. And he also said he wasn't particularly concerned with Michael Jordan's 25 points, acknowledged that Derek Harper was doing an excellent job on him. He was more encouraged by the fact that the next highest scorer had 8 points, and that was Steve Kerr. Marv?
All right, Dan working for Ahmad Rashad, who's a bit under the weather today. Michael Jordan coming out for the second half as the Bulls start with Longley, Rodman, Pippen, Jordan, and Harper. And the matchup is now Anthony Mason on Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan guarded by Derek Harper. Pippen for 3. And Ewing with the rebound. The Knicks with Harper and Starks at the guards. Ewing, Mason, and Oakley on the front line. Here is Ewing. Some confusion between Jordan and Longley. Jordan thought Longley would get to it, and then a reach-in foul call.
John Starks just 0 for 5 in that first half, coming off the brilliant shooting performance in the 3-game sweep over Cleveland. Has to get involved some way. Doesn't necessarily have to score, but he has to be a threat offensively, and that might get him going defensively as well.
That last foul was called on Harper, who is guarding Starks. Mason going at Rodman, and Dennis Rodman has not been a factor here. 3 fouls on Rodman in the first half. He's played only 14 minutes, has 6 rebounds. Bulls by 5. Shot clock at 5. Jordan. Well, Michael bails out his ball club.
How many times has he done that? That's the luxury of having a Jordan, a Pippen, and even a Kukoc to some degree who can make something happen with that shot clock winding down.
Oakley saving the pass and hitting. Charles Oakley with his 3rd field goal. So the Bulls now lead 56-51. From the Chicago point of view, yes, Michael Jordan has had a terrific game, but they need more from the supporting cast because the Knicks are playing very well.
Well, one of the problems with Michael being so aggressive offensively with post-ups, with taking a lot of jump shots, that other players stand around and don't get involved in the ballgame. Yes, you're getting scoring from Michael, which he's capable of doing, but at some point you do have to get a contribution elsewhere.
Harper, and he draws the foul and took the hit on the back of his neck. Michael Jordan called for his second. It's been a tough day physically for Derek.
Well, he took a hit in the first half from teammate Patrick Ewing in the head and neck area, and after he misses this layup here while fouled by Michael Jordan, he reaches back again in the back of the neck as he's still feeling the effects of it.
Derek Harper got off to a strong start prior to the All-Star break, then tailed off, picked it up at the end of the season. It was Derek who took that shot. May have been bothered a bit by the fact that his contract situation has not been settled, but now says he's put it behind him and it will be settled after the season.
Don't forget Game 2 of this best-of-7 series coming up on Tuesday night on TNT at 9:30 Eastern Time.
Longley on the putback. Chicago with a 58-52 lead. So Game 2 here in Chicago Tuesday, and then Games 3 and 4 in New York at Madison Square Garden next Saturday and Sunday afternoons here on NBC, and a foul is called. It's on Longley. Pippen came over to help out as Ewing went down deep. For the most part, it has been a jump shooting festival for Patrick Ewing.
And the Knicks consciously want to keep Dennis Rodman at the top of the floor so he can't be around the back.
The steal, Scottie Pippen. Extending to an 8-point lead. 3 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Harper. And a loose ball foul. It's called on Mason. That is his second. And a technical foul on Anthony Mason. That has been a problem right throughout the season. Here comes Dennis Rodman over to provide some advice for Joe Crawford. Dennis saying, hey, call another.
Well, there was no question there that Anthony Mason was in trouble after the call by Joe Crawford. Instead of just running down the floor or looking the other way, Mason looked right in the eye of Joe Crawford and had to say something. Joe Crawford didn't waste any time to tee him up.
Well, Knick teammates trying to settle down Anthony Mason, Patrick Ewing, and John Starks coming over. Mason still in a conversation with the officials. You do not want to get into a prolonged conversation with Joey Crawford.
Well, it won't be very long.
Bulls lead. Michael Jordan with 30, and it leads to a Knick timeout with 8.5 remaining in the third.
All over the world. Turns out we're part of the biggest event during the summer games, the beer run. The Bud World Party continues, round the clock, around the world.
The new Ford Taurus has people talking. Road and Track says the new V6 is a high-strung engine born to gallop. Chris Hayward said,
I'm surprised. A car this comfortable has that much pickup.
Automobile Magazine named Taurus Design of the Year. And Ray Wells agrees.
The new shape is just fantastic. Ford finally got me.
The new Ford Taurus. Now with $600 cash back, Taurus starts at just $17,945 or get 2.9% APR financing. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Some people say I've got too much on my mind. Movies, music, toys, correction. There's only one thing in my head, the championship. The championship. Because I got 10 fingers and no rings. And I love jewelry. That's what's on my mind. This is my planet.
You got room for a brother on your planet.
Dana, 264 times 13.
All my life, people told me I couldn't do it. Play basketball, do well in school. I remember once.
Excuse me.
These guys were giving me a really hard time.
Excuse me.
What do you want?
I'm trying to get to my locker.
Well, I know you're not trying to play me basketball. I didn't get mad. I didn't argue. I decided then to just keep on doing what everyone said I couldn't do. Peace.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. This Bud's for you. By the all-new Ford Taurus, a look you've never seen from a name you know well. And by McDonald's, the official break of the NBA. Have you had your break today?
Welcome back to the United Center. The Knicks have never won here in the United Center in their 4 previous tries, including the 94 playoffs. The Knicks have lost 7 straight games in Chicago. They're down here by 11. 7-0 run by the Bulls. Blocked by Harper. And a timeout called by Ron Harper. Terrific play by Harper. Make it 0 for 6 for John Starks.
Well, we were mentioning how much John Starks had to get involved. Jeff Van Gundy senses as well coming out of that timeout, running the baseline screen. John did a terrific job of getting open, took a little bit too much time in getting that shot off. But one of the reasons why John Starks is 0 for 6 is that man, number 9, Ron Harper, who has done it all season long defensively, only playing about half a game, sharing that time with Steve Kerr, but a role player with his team. He had his good scoring years with the Cavaliers, with the LA Clippers. He's very happy in what he's doing here in Chicago, his first chance at a title.
And starting in the second half of Game 1 against Miami, did an excellent job defensively on Tim Hardaway after Hardaway exploded in the first half of Game 1. Ewing picks it for Starks. Trying to recover, but Harper right there again. The Knicks did close within 4. They had it at 56-52 here at the start of the third quarter, but Chicago has reeled off 7 straight points. Jordan.
Yes. Michael looks so strong off the dribble. Just planting his feet and exploding up into the air and just shooting the ball with such confidence when he gets into that position.
32 points for Michael Jordan. Ewing. Oh, what a shot. Put it up with the 2 hands while he felt the contact, was fouled by Longley. The basket counts, and Ewing to the line.
Well, the Knicks getting one of their rare fast break opportunities. Nice pass by Ewing, just a little bit too long. John Starks just trying to save it, but then Jordan just taking the ball to a spot, rising to the air, and finishing off with a jumper.
Well, Patrick Ewing, who had his foul shooting difficulties in the fourth quarter against the Cavaliers in Game 3, able to convert for a 3-point play, and the Bulls now lead by 10. 7:20 to go. Third quarter. Rodman. And Ewing with the rebound and took a poke from Longley.
Well, Dennis Rodman does not figure very much in the shooting part of the offense. He'll be out on the perimeter as far as moving the ball, step into the post, keep things moving. He does not like to shoot the basketball, and you can almost see a tentative Dennis Rodman when he has what appears to be even the slightest opening of a shot.
And the Bulls, early in this third quarter, have gone over the foul limit. Patrick Ewing was 6 of 14 at the line in Game 3 against the Cavaliers. And here you can see it by quarter. He missed his last 5 in that third game against Cleveland. 10 of 20 in the series. His playoff free throw percentage went down from his regular season percentage at the line, but he's 3 for 3 here this evening.
Phil Jackson, Chicago coach, trying to get into the head of Ewing through the media, saying Patrick has to do a lot. He has to score. He's the only man that can beat us. He didn't like the way he played against Cleveland because he was playing an all-around game. He does not want to see that from Patrick Ewing. He'd rather see him launching jump shots.
Yes, Ewing very active against the Cavaliers. He just picked up the foul, his second. For the Knicks, their second team foul. 5 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Bulls have led by as many as 15. The Knicks able to cut into it. They had it down to 4, now trailing by 8. Pippen for 3. Oakley reaching with the one hand, and it cost. Longley was able to make the play. Oakley with the casual attempt, and so Chicago maintains possession.
But the Knicks have come out much more aggressive offensive, I should say, rebounding-wise, both ends of the floor. They got off to a very poor start in the first quarter, picked it up in the second. It's crucial for them to stay in ball games because of rebounding.
Harper. And back comes Starks. Broken up by Rodman. Starks trying to pass off the dribble.
This terrible decision by John. He almost threw it away about a second or two earlier.
And Oakley able to protect. Mason down deep. Basketball count. It's a goaltend. Called on Longley.
Oh, one of the best executed play by the Knicks in this ballgame. Just a little sudden pick and roll on the right side of the floor, and that feed inside to Mason with a man on his back. Longley coming over, but clearly the goaltender.
So the Knicks have answered with a 7-0 run, and they are trailing by 6 points. Shot clock down to 2. It's down to 1. Jordan for 3. Harper surging for the rebound and foul. Foul committed by Starks. His second.
Ron Harper continues to do all the little things, whether it's defense, whether it's picking off the loose ball. Just an unsung hero, you'd have to say, almost all season long for Chicago.
Timeout is called. 5:44 remaining in the third quarter.
There are all kinds of reasons we designed Ford Windstar to be so safe, with over 40 standard safety features, including dual airbags and anti-lock brakes. Reasons it received 5 stars, the highest possible rating in government crash tests, higher than any other minivan. In fact, there are so many reasons we designed Ford Windstar as safe as we did, it's impossible to pick our favorite one. Ford Windstar, now available with $1,000 cash back.
There's only one drink fat enough to quench our thirst, and that's Turbo Sport 7.
God, genius! The can's upside down.
Don't talk to me like a child. I played Hamlet at Cambridge.
Once again, you've ruined my concentration.
Excuse me. What's my motivation?
When you're thirsty, trust your gut, not some actor. To earn this uniform, it takes years of practice. Or play the under the cap game with 1 in 6 chances of instantly winning free Sprite and Sprite Dream Team stuff.
Somebody like that brings a whole new dimension to the sport.
I tell you what, the guy can hit a golf ball 300 yards.
He just smoked that ball. I mean, it just shot out there.
I didn't see him miss a shot.
Nice shot, Ron.
Looks like McDonald's is becoming a little more grown up. Starting May 9th.
You ought to be on the tour.
Let's see. Now available. New communications company with some experience. Invented dial tone. Also phone, transistor, laser, cellular. Has won awards, Nobel, etc. Formerly part of AT&T, now Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
Well, Ron Harper continues to make all the hustle plays as he gets an offensive rebound. But Dennis Rodman is the man that's going to knock 2 Knicks out of this play and leave an opening in the lane for Harper to sneak in there and pick one off.
Ron Harper, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, as you mentioned, doing other things aside from scoring. And you can see the rebounding differential. The Knicks have certainly picked it up on the board. Michael Jordan, 13 of 23. The rest of the Bulls, only 12 of 26. Now Pippen in the post-up mode on Starks. Rebounded by Longley. Kukoc for 3. Cannot buy one from downtown. Toni Kukoc 0 for 3 from three-point range. 1 of 19 in the playoffs. Chicago by 6 with 5:20 to go in the third quarter. They double up on Mason. Mason going at Kukoc. And Longley with the rebound.
Mason not happy there. Thought he was fouled on the play. Caught himself as he was about to bark at one of the referees. He's already got 1 technical.
So the Bulls 0 for their last 7. Make it 8.
And a good job that time by Patrick Ewing to keep his body between Luc Longley and the basket. He has lost contact with him a little bit. In the Cleveland series, Patrick was able to roam free because he didn't have to concern himself defensively. This series, he has to be more involved, and he's losing contact with his man.
Scottie Pippen with the ball. He's hit only 1 of his last 7 shots. 4.5 remaining in the third. So the Bulls in the midst of a drought. Ewing getting position. Ewing rebounded by Rodman, and he lost it. It will be Nick Ball. They'll have the new 24-second clock working. The Bulls have missed their last 9 shots.
A good idea for Patrick to do what he did on that last catch. Get it inside, try to get that 4th foul on Luc Longley.
And Starks draws the foul. Foul on Jordan, that's 3. Phil Jackson involved in a heated discussion. Then sat down.
With referee Ed Rush not happy with the screen that was set on the pick and roll situation for John Starks.
John Starks was labeled by the president of Madison Square Garden, former Knicks team president Dave Checketts, as the most valuable player of the series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And there is Dave Checketts. Starks had just a sensational series against Cleveland, hit 14 3-pointers, which set an NBA record, most threes in a 3-game playoff series. Broke the record held by Reggie Miller. But tonight, a different story. You just saw his first 2 points.
And John quickly deflected that praise from Dave Checketts, saying, Patrick Ewing and Anthony Mason were the most valuable players in that series.
9-0 run by the Knicks. Bulls without a field goal the last 3.5 minutes. Here's Longley. They missed their last 10 shots. It will be Nick Ball. So the Knicks able to hang in. They're down by only 4 with 3:42 remaining in the third.
And that's really all Jeff Van Gundy can ask of his team, especially in this building. Have his team hang around in this game, give themselves a chance to win without respect.
Harper able to penetrate. The Knicks have cut into a 2-point lead. And the crowd now urging the Bulls on. A Chicago team that has lost only twice at home. 39-2 here at the United Center. Call for a traveling violation.
Well, there's that tentative action by Dennis Rodman getting the catch. The man guarding him, whether it's Oakley or Mason, doesn't really matter. They're always going to look to help out, but then you always have to think about getting a body on him when it's time to rebound. But Dennis has to capitalize from time to time on some of those good looks inside.
Harper, yes, Derek Harper, who has had a brilliant game, has tied it at 65. 13 unanswered points by the Knicks. 2:45 remaining in the third. Jordan, and he's fouled. Oakley came over to help out. Harper called for the foul.
Well, Derek Harper having a solid game at the offensive end, just keeping the ball in the dribble as he drew Kukoc backing off on him. And he has really had to work extremely hard at the defensive end, getting burned much of the time in the first half against Michael Jordan. And the big key that Jeff Van Gundy was concerned about with whoever would guard Michael Jordan, don't get discouraged. He's going to get his points. Just do the right things.
Well, Michael will take that shot, getting the very friendly roll. Here's Steve Kerr for Dennis Rodman. 23 minutes for Rodman, only 7 rebounds, 3 personals, and now a change. Rodman, who was being beckoned, will stay on, and Scottie Pippen will sit down.
And one of those right things with Michael Jordan is keep him off the foul line an inordinate amount of time. He's now 7 for 7. You don't want Michael going to the line 10, 12, 15 times, or you're in big trouble.
34 for Jordan. The Bulls by 2. 2.5 to go in the third quarter. A tough rebound by Oakley, and he's fouled. Charles Oakley with a very physical move, pounded pounding his way inside, and he'll go to the line.
And now we're starting to see the conscious effort of Patrick Ewing to get good low post position, to try to get those fouls on Longley, because clearly the Bulls are not as effective team when the James Edwards, John Salleys come in. The Bulls can be a very effective team when they go small, and it'll be interesting to see if they do that to get themselves out of this offensive doldrum that they're in.
They've missed their last 10 shots. Foul on Kukoc, putting Oakley at the line. And the Knicks done the job at the line here tonight, 9 of 10. Oakley has tied the game at 67. Marv Albert, Matt Guokas, and Dan Hicks from the United Center in Chicago. Harper stealing from Jordan. Harper stripping Michael Jordan. And that is one you rarely see. You're called for steps. So the Bulls get it back.
Well, another one of those things Jeff Van Gundy wants is have his defenders get up on the ball handlers. That's tough to do against Michael Jordan, who has those big hands and handles so well. But the quicker, stronger hands that time by Derek Harper to knock it loose.
Now Jordan backing to the fairway. And it's picked up by Mason.
And Michael thought he got hit on the arm or wrist on that play. It's Derek Harper at the other end, kind of chuckling and laughing as he got away with one.
Bulls have missed their last 11 shots. Ewing lost it. Kerr got the hand in. Shot clock at 3. Ewing has to force. Oh, look out. Oakley went down. He was trying to draw the foul. We're coming up on 1 minute remaining in the third quarter. Kukoc with the fake. Oh, beautiful shot by Toni Kukoc. What a touch.
Well, you want to make Toni Kukoc go right. He's devastating when you let him go to his left. And he was a little bit of a fish out of water there as he had to flip it up. Got away with it.
Harper. So the Bulls streak comes to a close. They had missed 11 straight. They went 6 minutes, 26 seconds without a field goal. Oh, Michael Jordan way off. Here is Luc Longley. The Bulls 71. And the Knicks 67. 25 seconds left. Third quarter. Mason off a double team. He drew the foul. Anthony Mason will go to the line. Foul on Longley, so that is number 4 on Luc.
And that's what Patrick Ewing has been trying to do on the last 4 times he has gotten the ball at the offensive end in post position, barreling into Longley to get him in foul trouble. Finally, it was a kind of a careless foul on Longley coming over belatedly to help, and I think out of fatigue just hacked away at Mason.
3-point Chicago lead. Here's Pippen back. Charlie Ward now checking in along with Hubert Davis. Well, to this point, it's still a long way to go with the fourth quarter ahead, but it has been the unexpected. Most people have not believed in this New York Knicks team. It's only game number 1. Going up against a Chicago Bulls squad that won a record 72 games. But the Knicks have come from 15 down. They've been able to hang tough with the Bulls here in game 1. On the road, 10 seconds remaining in the third. Kukoc off the dribble, finding Jordan. Goes by 4. Davis fires for 3. And that's the end of the third. 36 points for Jordan. Although he missed his previous 5 shots before hitting that jump shot right at the end of the quarter. It's the Bulls 73 and the Knicks 69. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
The new Ford Taurus has people talking. Car and Driver noted it's wider, longer, and taller than before. Edward Armand says,
I'm amazed at its size. It's actually bigger than it looks.
Automobile Magazine calls it maybe the best family car ever made. And Maria Stylo adds,
I love it. I've never gotten so many compliments.
the new Ford Taurus. Now with $600 cash back, Taurus starts at just $17,945 or get 2.9% APR financing. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Oh, Bill, did I tell you what Patty said that Rachel heard about what Mark said about Patty? Well, Bill, are you listening? Anyway, Patty ran into Rachel, who had run into Mark at a party. So, according to Bill, are you listening to me or to the game?
5 ticks left on the clock. Missiles down by 1. Just a reminder, this game brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. Smith inbounds to Wakeman through the paint. Tomahawk jam. Yes!
I've got a problem. I love to read. So when I start a good book, I can't put it down. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I have to keep reading. Then as soon as I finish, I can't wait to start the next one. I better get started.
Is there something you don't know about your mattress? Dateline Tuesday.
She's going.
Come on, come on.
Anxiously awaiting the end of an old workhorse.
She's gone.
How am I going to pay for this? Maybe it's time to move on. And get no payments and no interest for 1 year on all the big-name major appliances at Best Buy. And put that old friend to rest. Best Buy, just the store you've been shopping for.
Wouldn't it be great if everything in your home came with it, instead of being extra? Finally, an extra that really does come with your home. A free homeowner's checking account from Standard Federal Bank. There's no monthly service charge, no minimum balance requirement, and no per-check fees, no matter how many checks you write. And here's another extra that doesn't cost extra. 30 minutes of free long-distance calls. Free homeowners checking, helping you get the extras you really want, only from Standard Federal Bank.
Jack Doles with sports, weeknights on News 8. Cast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Well, the Bulls with a 19-point third quarter, and they have a 4-point lead as we head to the fourth. The Bulls were 8 of 25. Poor shooting in the third thanks to that 0 for 11 streak. Michael Jordan sitting it out, stretching out the back. Michael with 36 points, though, through 3 quarters on 14 on 27 from the field. Here's Charlie Ward with 3. Longley had it knocked away, but recovered by Harper. So the Bulls going with Kukoc, Pippen, and Longley up front. Harper and Kerr at the guards. Kukoc not able to hit the 3 in the playoffs. That has been a weapon in the past, particularly against the Knicks, where he's done well down the stretch. Well, he is now 1 of 20 from downtown in the playoffs. Here is Ewing, broken up by Kerr, but recovered by Ward. Ewing, Mason, and Oakley on the front line. Ward and Davis in the backcourt. Shot clock at 5. Ward. And again, Oakley got a good job off the boards. His 8th rebound.
And Charlie Ward had a good first half. Just had 2 good scoring opportunities. The 3-point attempt and then the drive. These are crucial possessions for New York as they try to stay in this ballgame. They did not shoot the ball well, New York, in that third quarter. Just 6 for 16, but stayed in the game on the free throw line. 10 for 11 from the foul line.
Mason called for the foul, putting Pippen at the line. Scottie Pippen has struggled from the field. He's only 4 of 13. Has 10 points. And here is Bill Wennington making his first appearance. Luc Longley with a solid game. 8 points, 8 rebounds, but Phil Jackson looking to protect the foul situation. Longley has 4.
And when Wennington comes into the ballgame, he helps spread the floor for Chicago. He'll try to take Patrick Ewing away from the basket. He's a jump shot threat, and that opens up driving lanes for the perimeter players in Chicago.
Ewing not able to hit on that long lead. Chicago by 6, 75-69. A minute and a half gone by in the 4th quarter. Pippen. And a foul against Chicago. It's on Wennington. Matt, you look back to the 1992 playoff series between the Knicks and the Bulls, and the Knicks shocked the Bulls by beating them here in Chicago in Game 1, led by Patrick Ewing with 34 points, 16 rebounds. Ewing pushed by his one-time Big East rival out of St. John's, Bill Wennington.
Well, Bill Wennington gives up some strength in that situation, and Patrick Ewing knows that any kind of contact, Patrick's going to get the benefit of that call. And it looks like Chicago waiting for Ewing to put the ball on the floor before they come to help on him.
Mason trying to force the issue, lost it. Here's Harper. Well, a costly turnover. The Bulls extend to 8, and Jeff Van Gundy taking time. 9:56 remaining in the 4th.
The NBA playoffs continue on NBC next weekend.
All great cars are built from the ground up. But to build something truly extraordinary, we had to dig a little deeper. Introducing the new Acura CL Coupe. Further proof that luxury doesn't have to be boring.
Imagine your feet are under attack by many flesh-eating predators. That's athlete's foot. To cure them all, you have to kill them all. Lotramin AF. Full prescription strength medicine. The brand doctors recommend most. Lotramin AF. The killer cure.
So you do this every day, huh? Poor baby. And this is a guy thing, right? That's not so bad. You guys are so sensitive. Ouch.
For the man with sensitive skin, Schick introduces the all-new Tracer FX.
Is this the sensitive part? Right here?
With its unique skin guard designed for a smooth shave with less irritation. The shaving system for sensitive skin. Schick Tracer FX.
You the sensitive type? I like that.
Announcing Goodyear's Race Days Tire Sale. Save up to 25% on all Goodyear Eagles and all Goodyear Wranglers. Other Goodyear tires from $19.99. Get to Goodyear and save. And ask about Invented Tread with a lifetime Tread Life limited warranty.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me.
Your turn, man. When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good.
I think she digs you. Really?
No. Beyond the sea,
Miller, where great taste runs in the family, brings you Miller Moments.
We touched on this a moment ago. 4 years back, Knicks and Bulls, Game 1 of the '92 Eastern semifinals. It was Patrick Ewing taking over for the Knicks. He had a game-high 34. He also pulled down 16 rebounds and blocked 9 shots as the Knicks pulled off a 94-89 upset at Chicago Stadium. In recognition of this moment, the Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Well, Spike Lee has made the trip to the Windy City. He's sitting courtside. His favorite team, the New York Knicks, are trailing the Chicago Bulls. Oakley again. Yes, and it counts. What an effort by Charles Oakley And he cuts it to a 6-point Chicago lead. That's 10 rebounds, 12 points for Oakley. He was fouled by Ron Harper.
Well, I can't remember a game when Patrick Ewing has been so diligent about staying inside and trying to work the low post. He's not really turning up that much, but just that pressure that you put on the defense by getting the ball inside enabled second shot opportunities, and that was a second and third opportunity by Oakley.
The Knicks now 12 of 14 at the line, and the Bulls a perfect 16 for 16. Michael Jordan sitting down here in the early moments of the fourth quarter. Wennington with the open shot.
And that's why he's in the ball game. Offensively, they run that little screen and pop as he gets to that open area for the open jump shot. He shoots it so well from 17 feet.
Bulls 79, the Knicks 71. Ewing. And again, it's Harper helping out. That's his 7th rebound. Very difficult matchup. John Starks defending against Toni Kukoc. Patrick Ewing jumping out on a switch, playing Steve Kerr. Kerr for 3. And Ewing with the rebound. Bulls have missed their last 8 3-point attempts. Harper. Good play by Wennington to keep it alive and to tap it over to Kerr.
That's not a good shot by Derek Harper. You got to come down and make the defense work. They've had some success going inside. Not so much with Ewing scoring, but getting other looks.
And a foul. Bill Wennington looking for the putback. Took the hit from behind from John Starks. Here's Michael Jordan making the walk to the scorer's table. And hearing it from the crowd as he replaces Steve Kerr. 8 points for Kerr. Timeout taken. 8:17 to go in the fourth. It's the Bulls by 8.
Will that be a window or aisle?
Sir, window. Aisle seat.
Well, at least you know where to sit when you get home. The Accord Coupe from Honda. Possibly the world's easiest decision.
All right, Chicago Bulls with a 79-71 lead. Michael Jordan with his 36 points, well distributed. Opened up with 15 in the first quarter. Kukoc and Ewing with the rebound. Toni Kukoc now 1 of 8 from the field. Here's Starks giving it up. Davis for 3. Yes. Hubert Davis with his second 3-pointer. And Joe Crawford apparently did not like the conversation of Charles Oakley. And again, double technicals. This time Oakley and Pippen. Earlier, Jordan and Harper had words and were hit with the double T. You see it? These guys are friends off the court.
But as soon as two players look at one another and say anything, the officials are going to crack down on it right away.
Jordan. And Oakley able to pick it up. Bulls by 5, 79-74. Harper saw the opening. Derek Harper again able to penetrate. It's a 3-point Chicago lead.
Wow, Derek Harper always looking to explore that opening. Actually, it was 1-on-5, but the Bulls relaxed defensively. And he takes advantage of it, and he loves to do it going to his left. Just a little hesitation and a little crossover to get through the defenders as Bill Wennington unable to help out.
John Starks, who has had a very long evening here at the United Center, just picked up that foul, his 4th. Toni Kukoc sitting down, replaced by Dennis Rodman. Jordan protecting and draws the foul. That is number 3 on Ewing. And Michael Jordan to the line where he's hit 7 for 7.
And Phil Jackson quickly getting Toni Kukoc out of the ballgame and having quite a bit to say to him as he walked him down to the end of the bench, and now getting Luc Longley back in there. I'm sure not happy with the way that Wennington clogged up the lane on that last Derek Harper penetration. It's the same thing for the Chicago defense. You know you're going to give up something in the half-court offense for New York. You just don't want to give up easy baskets. Even though it was a hard-earned one by Derek Harper on a nice play, it's considered an easy hoop because of the layup.
Anthony Mason is back, replacing Patrick Ewing. Solid game for Ewing, 19 points and 12 rebounds. Bulls 81, Knicks 76. Jordan has 38 points. He's the high man. Harper using the screen to rid himself of Jordan, then feeding Mason. Rodman had it slapped. Oh, what hustle by Oakley, but it was recovered by Pippen. Jordan with the open shot. Oakley with the hustle play again, but recovered by Rodman. Here's Longley. Oh, he came up short. He was expecting contact from Charles Oakley.
Well, he couldn't have expected him to try to block the shot because Charles just does not have that kind of lift.
Harper played well by Pippen. Did not get the shot off. Oakley does. And Jordan with the rebound. Well, both clubs struggling here in the fourth quarter.
In some cases, poor shot selection. In other, just tough, hard, aggressive defense.
And a loose ball foul against the Bulls. And F. Rush making the call. Being applauded by Spike Lee. That's number 4 on Dennis Rodman.
This is it, where brand new Miller beer begins. Where the hops grow that give new Miller beer its flavor. Because new Miller beer is brewed a totally new way. Straight from the heart of the hops. For flavor unlike any other beer. Big flavor that goes down easy. We think so much of this new beer, we're just calling it who we are. Miller. Brand new Miller beer. Reach for what's out there.
Pizza Hut, your triple deckeroni pizza.
Shh, baby.
Whoa!
Wow! What a pizza! New Pizza Hut Triple Deckeroni Pizza. 90 pepperoni pieces, 6 cheeses, 2 crusts, 1 hellacious taste.
Remember, it's not only how fast you can go, it's also where you can go. The new Honda Passport, with standard dual airbags and 1 powerful V6 engine.
Hello there.
The internet will be the biggest thing since the Industrial Revolution. The internet will be just a chat line for physicists and video game addicts. Someday, your web address will be everything. One day on the internet, the Colonel's secret formula will whiz past the secret formula for Pepsi. What will the internet be? No one knows. But we engineer systems in anticipation of this vast uncertainty. So you can approach it as one huge opportunity. Digital, whatever it takes.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by New Miller Beer, the brand new beer from Miller with big flavor that goes down easy. By Honda, who offers an impressive family of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans. And by Prudential, live well, make a plan, be your own rock.
Welcome back to Chicago. Woody Allen and Sun Yi making the trip. Gene Siskel, a regular here at Bulls games at the United Center. The Bulls 81 and the Knicks 76. 5:50 to go in this fourth quarter. Patrick Ewing with 21 points, and he cuts it to 3. The Bulls led by as many as 15. They led by 13 early in the second half, and one stretch missed 11 consecutive shots. The Knicks have played them very well. Down by 3. Pippen tried the finger roll, rebounded by Ewing, and he calls for time. But this will be a full timeout because the Knicks used their 20 earlier. 5:29 left. Fourth quarter. We'll be right back.
Yeah. It's all good on the hardwood, remaining calm. My game is tight and the bomb like Sean. Simply on the mission when transition is the game. Steady on the game, it's the man who make it rain. Came on the scene, green at 19. Critics intervened, but I still made the dream. Now the whole world is mine to reinvent, where my skills represent like my name was Sean Kemp. Yeah, you better understand it. This is my planet.
All great cars are built from the ground up. But to build something truly extraordinary, we had to dig a little deeper. Introducing the new Acura CL Coupe. Further proof that luxury doesn't have to be boring.
For the very first time in the long and storied history of the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes, there's an absolute 100% sure thing. If you try to use American Express, you won't get in, because the only card accepted at the gate is Visa. It's everywhere you want to be.
Carbon monoxide isn't the only thing to worry about coming from your tailpipe, because with every stroke of your engine, motor oil is being vaporized into exhaust, leaving less and less protection. That's why there's Castrol GTX 10W30. Of every leading 10W30, Castrol provides the most protection against volatility burn-off. So use Castrol, or watch more of your protection go up in smoke. Castrol GTX, the most protection against volatility burn-off.
Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes. What I want is a hard target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, and doghouse. Go get him.
The network television premiere of the motion picture blockbuster, The Fugitive, NBC tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central.
Here is one for the time capsule. Phil Jackson, very upset. And jawing at, yes, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen.
Well, Phil is puzzled and annoyed, not happy with the shot selection of Michael and Scottie, and not happy with the way they're running the offense.
5:20 to go, fourth quarter. The Knicks with the ball down by 3. Harper, yes, foot on the line. He wants a 3, but he did have the foot on the 3-point line. It cuts it to a 1-point Chicago lead. Harper has 19 points. Jordan. Rodman blocked and fouled. Well, the Bulls have gone through another stretch. Earlier, they missed 11 straight. They have now missed their last 9 shots.
Well, it makes such a difference when the ball goes inside first, comes back out, you get a better look at the basket. No question that Ron Harper's foot on that 3-point line. But that last timeout to save the possession by Patrick Ewing cut the Knicks to just 2 timeouts, but they saved the possession and got the deuce at the other end.
Dennis Rodman only a 52% free throw shooter. So Rodman with his first points. And the Bulls have hit 20 of 20 at the line. They lead by 3. 4:45 remaining. In this fourth quarter, game 1 of the best of 7 between the Knicks and the Bulls. Ewing bottled up. Good play by Longley. Luc Longley took it away, but stepped out of bounds.
And the Knicks continue to punch the ball inside to Patrick Ewing as he is working hard for the position against a wide-body, strong defender in Luc Longley. Ball knocked loose, and Ewing's little body movement actually forced Longley out of bounds, but the Knicks retain possession.
John Starks, who has not been able to hit a shot, guarded by Ron Harper. Illegal defense called against the Bulls. That is the first call today. And the Knicks get the new 24. Jeff Van Gundy has a starting lineup on the floor. Harper and Starks at the guard. Ewing, Mason, Oakley up front. Oh, Jordan just took a hit on a screen that was set by Ewing. Starks. And deflected out by Rodman. John Starks 0 for 7 from the field.
Well, Michael working hard defensively, bad back and all, trying to fight over screens as Patrick Ewing nails him twice legally, but Jordan keeps working.
And the outside official, Don Vaden, right in front of the Bulls bench, making the call on Harper, his third. Ron Harper called for the foul. Both teams are over the limit. So Starks will shoot 2. He is 2 of 2 at the line. Phil Jackson, man who played 13 years in the NBA, 11 as a member of the New York Knicks. And the Knicks are now 13 of 15 at the line. Phil Jackson was all set, incidentally, to take a leave of absence from his coaching duties last season, but then Michael Jordan came back from the 17-month retirement, and Phil's outlook, I would say, dramatically changed. And now looking for a 2-year contract, and the discussions with the Bulls are ongoing. The Knicks cut it to 1 as we come up on 4 minutes remaining of the fourth. The Bulls have missed their last 9 shots. Jordan. Bulls 85 and the Knicks 82. And Michael Jordan has hit the 40-point mark.
Well, it didn't show up, but Steve Kerr just coming into the ball. He normally finishes close games. It helps spread the floor, opening inside for Jordan. But now he's got to watch Starks, who has not been involved offensively, mainly because Ron Harper, when he was in the game, just put a blanket all over John Starks. Wide open spaces inside as Jordan easily gets the post position against Derek Harper. And most teams don't worry about Ron Harper offensively as far as his perimeter shooting is concerned.
Well, John Starks with a wild shot and then a foul. Anthony Mason making the contact on Dennis Rodman. Let's see how Jeff Van Gundy plays it with John Starks. We are closing in on Houston Revisited, Matt.
Exactly, Marv, and I'm sure Jeff is thinking right now he wants to keep John Starks' confidence. Jeff was an assistant under Pat Riley, went through that scenario in Houston a few years ago. And you would think, though, that he might learn from that and maybe come with Hubert Davis, who is shooting the ball reasonably well, as Patrick Ewing is trying to talk to John Starks to try to keep his confidence up. John, again, has to take those shots, but he really is doubting himself right now.
Well, he's 0 for 8, and you reach your point, as was the case in Game 7 against the Rockets in the finals, where you have to stop shooting. Starks gets it to Harper for 3. Rebound Ewing. Ewing off the fake. It's a traveling violation. It will be Chicago ball, but first a timeout taken. 3 minutes, 11 seconds remaining in the fourth. The Bulls lead by 4.
Hello.
How's your bud ice? Doobie.
That's the 3rd one tonight. It's okay. The police are tracing the call.
Hello. This is the police. Those calls are coming from inside the house. Repeat, those calls are coming from inside the house.
Drink Bud Ice, but beware the penguins.
Sir? Sir?
Back in the day, they owned the streets. Now, they're coming home to reclaim their territory. Fred Williamson, Jim Brown, and Pam Grier. Original Gangsters. Rated R. Starts May 10th.
Announcing Goodyear's Race Days Tire Sale. Save up to 25% on all Goodyear Eagles and all Goodyear Wranglers. Other Goodyear tires from $19.99. Get to Goodyear and save. And ask about Infinitread with a lifetime Tread Life limited warranty.
I come from the generation that always said, well, I'll be married, so I'll be taken care of. My goal in life was to be a beach bum. But at 50, I found myself alone, divorced. And I said, I'm going to open a ballet school. And it was wonderful. I took my money and invested it. I felt great. You know, it's a skill to manage life. You know, it scared the bejabbers out of me.
If I could read.
Basketball didn't always come easy for Scottie Pippen. The youngest of 12, he was not even recruited out of high school, and his college career began as the equipment manager. Now this 1,000,000-to-1 shot is one of the NBA's greatest players. His dream will take him back to the Olympics on NBC.
You're watching the NBA on NBC. The 1996 NBA Playoffs.
Phil Jackson, Luc Longley have talked about Patrick Ewing's extra little hop step. You saw the right foot there, try to gain the advantage, and it was called this time. So maybe all that chit-chat, you throw enough of that stuff up against the wall, you might buy one. They got it there.
Well, John Starks 0 for 8 from the field. Remember, he averaged close to 20 a game in the playoff sweep over the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the numbers of Michael Jordan, 15 of 31. You can add to that 42 for Jordan. And the Bulls lead 88-82. One of those games where the Bulls have needed a bit more from Michael Jordan, because the supporting cast has not done it tonight. That's number 4, committed by Jordan.
Well, Michael came into this game with the idea of shoot first, take names later. He has been offensively aggressive all the way with the jump shots, with the post-ups, and they are getting by his defender and challenging and beating Patrick Ewing to the basket.
Charles Oakley, 4 of 5 at the foul line.
And one other reason John Starks, and it's a big one, why he remains in this game despite being 0 for 8 from the field, is defensively. I don't think the Knicks have that confidence yet in Hubert Davis, although he has improved defensively. I don't think Jeff Van Gundy likes any matchup out on the floor right now with Hubert in this situation.
Bulls 88 and the Knicks 84. 2:45 remaining in this fourth quarter. It's game 1 of the best of 7. Game 2 here in Chicago on Tuesday. Games 3 and 4 back in New York Saturday and Sunday. Jordan airs, rebounded by Ewing.
And don't forget game 2 coming up on Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern time on TNT.
Working hard on Longley. And the Bulls wanted a travel call once again, but instead a foul on Longley. That is number 5. The shuffling of the feet gets Phil Jackson crazy. In fact, any time, which is rare, that Michael Jordan is called for a travel, Phil has made it a point to cite others around the league who he feels travel all the time and don't get it called. And the name Ewing always surfaces.
And they also talk about his achy knees, how old he's getting, really trying to get into Patrick's head, but he does have a habit of when he goes to his left on the dribble of trying to sneak in that extra step.
Meanwhile, Ewing continues to have his problems at the foul line in the fourth quarter. Missed his last 5 against the Cavaliers. That has been a pattern, though, throughout his career. He did pick it up for a while, but he misses 2 important free throws with 2 minutes to go. Would have cut it to a 2-point lead. Jordan. That turns out to be an enormous swing. The 2 free throws missed by Ewing. The jump shot by Jordan. Bulls by 6. The Knicks take a timeout.
What are the steps to winning in the NBA Finals? Step 1, play hard. 2, Match the inside of your cap with the winning team and the number of games it takes them to win the finals. And win a bag full of cool stuff. There will be over 1 million winning caps.
Sweat it out. Don't just watch the finals. Play them.
Suggestion. Don't wear all the cool stuff at the same time.
The NBA is at your fingertips at NBA.com. You have the computer, you've accessed the internet, now log on to NBA.com for all you want to know about the NBA. 24 hours a day, you can check out game schedules, plus player stats and stories from around the league. That's any team, anytime. And NBA on the Air tells you where to tune in for all the action. NBA.com. Log on and get connected to the NBA.
Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes. What I want is a hard target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, and doghouse. Go get him.
The network television premiere of the motion picture blockbuster, The Fugitive, NBC tonight, 8:30, 7:30 Central.
We request your indulgence for a reminder about our playoff schedule next weekend. On Saturday, Showtime gets things started at 12:30 Eastern. That precedes Game 3 of the Knicks and Bulls from Madison Square Garden. The late game on Saturday is Game 3 of the San Antonio Spurs and the Utah Jazz from Salt Lake. On Sunday, another triple header beginning at noon with Showtime. Then the Hawks, who won a Game 5 against Indiana today, host Orlando. The middle game on Sunday is Game 4 of the Seattle-Houston series, which the Sonics currently lead 1-0. And finally, the 5:30 Eastern Time game is Chicago back at the Garden to play the Knicks. And back we go to the United Center to Marv and Matt.
Thank you, Bob.
Well, Michael Jordan getting double teamed, getting it back out, reposting, and getting excellent position for the little turnaround over Derek Harper. And now Michael, as they go to that timeout, talking to Toni Kukoc. Wait, be patient, wait for me to get my spot.
Well, Michael Jordan with 44 points, the rest of the Bulls 46. A minute and a half remaining, fourth quarter. And Harper had it deflected. So it will be Nick Ball with 2 on the shot clock. Timeouts remaining. The Knicks have 1 timeout left. Chicago with 3. Starks able to get it off. A minute 20 to go in the fourth.
Very close to a goaltend. That shot had no chance of going in. But when Jordan went up there to rebound, ball and rim, almost simultaneous. Good decision. Scottie Pippen not to force anything. Use some clock.
Shot clock at 3. Jordan, the air ball fielded by Pippen. And it's a 24-second violation. The Knicks may have received a break. That might have deflected off Starks. Jordan claiming that he was hacked. He has 1 technical already.
He went right in the face of referee Eddie Rush. He was claiming he was hacked. Scottie Pippen claiming that he right on the elbow as Michael Jordan let that shot go, and Scottie Pippen felt he was pushed underneath the basket.
6-point Chicago lead. That's time remaining, just under a minute left in the fourth quarter. Harper trying to get the step and stepped out of bounds. Dennis Rodman emphasizing the point to Derek Harper.
Well, there it is. Clearly, as the Knicks is taking too much time with precious seconds left in trying to get an offensive play. They got to get into it much quicker. The problem right now is they don't want to run anything with John Starks because of the problems he's having shooting from the perimeter, shooting from anywhere.
And the Knicks have missed their last 6 shots. They've missed their last 2 free throws. The 2 misses by Ewing. Now the Bulls will want to play the clock a bit with a 6-point lead, 30 seconds remaining. Kukoc took a bump, so he will go to the line. Both clubs have been over the limit for some time. The foul committed by Oakley. Well, because of our NBA coverage, Dateline Sunday taking the night off, but they will be back on May the 19th. Coming up next, the countdown continues to the must-see season finale of Mad About You. And And then Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones star in the network premiere of The Fugitive. It is all tonight, following the Knicks and the Bulls right here on NBC. Toni Kukoc is now 4 of 5 at the line. And the Bulls 22 of 24 at the free throw line. They lead by 7. 25 seconds remaining. Fourth quarter. Oakley looking for the 3. Knicks just need to get a shot off at this point, being a bit too selective and a cost, and that will do it. Although Phil Jackson will not be happy with his team's performance. Michael Jordan took it all on his shoulders. Michael with 44 points, a very strong effort by the Knicks, but they fall short in game number 1. The Knicks went the last 5 minutes and 15 seconds without a field goal. So Jordan finishes 17 for 35 for 44. Chicago with a 91-84 victory over the Knicks in game 1 of the best of 7. For Matt Guokas and Ahmad Rashad, who we hope will be back with us next week, Dan Hicks filling in for Ahmad. I'm Marv Albert saying so long. This has been the NBA on NBC.
The NBA playoffs, the U.S. Women's Open, the French Open, the U.S. Open, Wimbledon, the NBA Finals, baseball's All-Star Game, and the Olympic Games in Atlanta. The great events are all on